Hello guys, welcome to the studio again. So I finished the series of the black and white flowers. I've done 7, 11, I think I've done something like 11, 10 maybe. And I switched now to color, the same thing but in color. So using monochromatic arrangement, so just red. So I've done this one already in a smaller size, I can show you. It's just a tiny bit smaller, it's a bit shorter to fit the canvas I want to work on. So what I've done, I just switch, rotate, mirror the image. So it's the same flower, but it's just different. The reason why I'm going to do it again, you know, there's something about practicing, you know, it's like when you draw life models. You know, you can draw a life model endlessly. It's just the same thing over and over again, and the subject does not necessarily refresh, but you're refreshing your eyes and you get better at what you're doing because you're doing it over and over and over again. And the truth is that am I bored of painting those flowers? No, because it's painting, because it's still part of a larger thing. It's just first of all, I'm not going to make the same painting because it's impossible for me to do exactly the same one, so it's just going to be a tiny bit different. And you know, if the logical is respected, I should become better and better at what I'm doing. You know, but it's kind of a, you know, it's not a linear progression. Sometimes I might just go a bit, you know, sometimes you do better, sometimes. But for me, for sure, practicing over and over again is definitely something something good. The door is open behind me because we have a little bit of a storm, and my dog is kind of a freak when it comes to storms. So she's coming in the studio with me, and officially it's to support me. The truth is that she's terrified when it's stormy, and it's okay. Okay, so we're going to start. So I'm going to switch camera, we're going to go there. And so on this one, and I think I used the same technique about it in the one before. I'm using two reds. I'm using this one and this one. This one is a bit darker, and this one, of course, is lighter. So I'm going to play with both because the background on that painting is really red. So I'm going to use that red. I might have to reload my palette actually, because as you can see, I'm getting to a point where I'm running out of red a little bit. So I'm just going to reload and I'm going to start. You know, the thing is, I think I've painted that thing maybe between the color version and the black and white version. I mean, maybe I painted it like 7 or 8 times, and I'm still discovering things each time I paint it. So I guess it's good. Remember I told you that the whole space is given by that little line here, and we have something here. Okay, I think we have enough information, we can start. That red is really beautiful. You know, as I said already, it's pretty rare to have the opportunity of putting a real red like this. Sometimes, you know, when I paint people with outfits, clothes that are red like this, you can use colors like this, but it's kind of rare. The other thing, and we'll see that when we'll move to colors. The tricky part about painting something red like this is that if I mix my red with white, I'm going to get more of a pink than a lighter red. So it's almost like I'm changing of palette. So a lighter red, if I was doing, for example, if I was doing a painting with like I've done a portrait of my daughter. You can see it on my social media. with a red dress. And the difficult part about painting a red dress is that the light on the red is actually made with orange and not red. So if I mix red with white, I'm going to get a pink. If I want a light red, something luminous, I'm going to have to use an orange. But we'll talk about it when we'll move to color paintings. So on this one, you see I'm just filling up kind of the red background. That's the other thing, you know, when you repeat paintings like this, there's a moment where the fact that I've done it so many times, yes, I'm bored, kind of. Now, the boredom also helped me to feel more free, you know, because I care less. You know, I'm just like, okay, fine, whatever. And so when you reach that point, actually, that can create something really interesting in your own practice, which is you start having more freedom because you think less about the pressure of failing and you think more about just doing it. So it's also one of the reasons why a long time ago in the studio, they were doing the same thing over and over again. We don't do that much anymore. You know, a lot of studio painters, you know, now they don't do as they were doing, you know, a long time ago when in the studio the young painters were, you know, stretching canvases. Like for example, in the master studio, the young apprentice, they had to grind the colors. So pigment, oil, and you grind. You know, you mix the colors for months, for years before you even start painting. Like in the studio of Rubens, there was young apprentice, and they were staying in the studio for months before they were even starting painting. And of course, today it would be inconceivable because people want to do things fast, and you know. But there's a lot of jobs that require a lot of, I won't say silence, but kind of, you know, like just like learn how you do things before you can pretend to know how to make them. So by repeating the same gesture over and over again, they become almost like natural. But it's the same thing for a piano player or for a violinist or for any kind of artist that needs to really master the technique, you know, like they play the same scale over and over again. An opera singer who is repeating is not singing an opera. He's just making scales, you know, and it's boring as hell. You know, even as a spectator, you know, I mean, listening to rehearsal can be really, really boring. And you know, I used to play the guitar. I used to be part of some music bands and so on. And the truth is that when you write songs, when you play together, sometimes you have to play the same songs 50 times, 100 times before the song comes out well. And I believe it can be a little bit the same thing in painting. So by doing the same painting over and over again, it's a good way to understand the mechanic, the intimate mechanic of the painting, how it functions, how it works. And at some point you do it, and it's just, it just comes so naturally that people can say, wow, he's so gifted. Yeah, there's a gift, but there's a lot of work behind all that celebration, all that joy, all that, you know. There's still a lot of hours of things that are not necessarily about having fun. And it's okay, you know, it doesn't have to be everything spontaneous and, you know, you just take a brush and you're just a pure genius. No, I don't think so. Like Van Gogh at the end of his life was painting 4 paintings a day, 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 1 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, or whatever. So it was painting like a machine. I just want you to notice something. I have a little bit of a black here. It's coming from my brush that was, you know, I was working with black before, and as I told you, sometimes the colors get stuck into that little part here. And so when you push the brush on the canvas, that color come out. So like, for example, if you're using yellow, you need a clean brush. You need a brush that is brand new or something. Otherwise, the yellow is going to be damaged by the painting that is remaining into that. So I use a lot of rags. I usually always have a rag in my left hand. Sometimes I'm having a couple of brushes as well. I use my old shirts, t-shirts, whatever you can find. You know, you don't need to buy expensive rags. You can just use, you go in your closet and you find old stuff and just use it. Okay, so now I'm starting using that red I was talking about. Because here I need a darker red, so, you know, I'm just gonna mix it with the lighter red in here and just darker here. So I love doing, you know, I love that actually. I think that's really amazing, the fact that I have those two reds that I can combine. It creates so much richness to the palette. You know, we can even also wonder, because it's a monochromatic painting, is it a colored painting? You know, like I was talking about the black and whites, you know, where the black and white painting, colored painting. But now, because it's all red, is it a color painting? So it would be easier to answer yes, because it's red. But indeed, it's about the same thing than the black and white. What I like about those little flower painting is that, you know, you don't need to go into details. You don't need to make the painting looks like the original. It's an inspiration. It's just like, you know, we don't want, I mean, if you want to, you're more than welcome to make a copy of that painting. That means you're going to spend hours doing all the detail the same and so on. What do I think about doing something like this? I think it's great. You know, I think it's, I think it can be really interesting to paint the same thing over and over again. So, let's do it this way. Okay. You know, sometimes it can be really interesting actually to just create a painting with a really large brush on a little size thing, because, you know, you have to limit yourself to only the major thing, not the little detail. And that can be really great to learn, or to keep only what's important and not paint things that are not that, you know, important. So, you know, I told you that using liquid is kind of important, because it's going to help the white to dry. But because I'm working on paper, it's not that crucial. It's not like, because the paper is going to swallow the oil in the painting, and it's going to make the painting dry faster anyway. So that's pretty good. Well, I'm sorry, I'm just going to close the door of the studio. My daughter just came back home. You're participating to the life in this house. So I'm really excited because we're building a studio right now at our house, and that's going to be a fantastic place for me to work and paint and share what I'm doing with you, because I'm conceiving the studio as a place where I will be able to do all those videos, all those training and so on. So I'm pretty excited, and it's going to be a beautiful place with high ceilings. Ceilings are kind of really important for painters, because you need space above your head when you paint. So you see now I'm using that darker red, and it helps me to create those strokes. So yeah, I learned that word. That's strokes, right? I think so. I didn't know before, so I had to look for. I'm still struggling a little bit with English. I don't think I will ever feel completely fluent, but that's okay. So you see, because I've painted that painting so many times now, it's so much easier, to create those rendering and so on. So it's one thing. It's interesting if you can to paint it several times. I mean, maybe not as much as I'm doing, because I do that also for a project, so that makes sense. But painting something over and over again will definitely help you to control it. Like, for example, if you do a beautiful painting, like you have one painting particularly that you really love, you can paint it several times. Like, I know that for some of my works, when I feel a painting is really above the other ones for some reason and so on, sometimes I make another version. I change a couple of things, colors, whatever that's going to make the painting a bit different. But then I repaint it. Anyway, it's not going to be the same, it's just going to be a bit different, so, it's okay. Okay. I feel I'm almost there. There's these little details in the vase. So now, if you've been working with me on those paintings for a while, you know what I'm talking about, the little dots. Those little things of 4 that always come together. I think it's a little engravement in the vase. There's something really beautiful about it. I'm going to switch off brush. I'm going to use a really tiny one for the white. see, I'm still learning a lot about that painting, about what's important, what is not, the circulation of the light, things like this. And that's why it's so interesting and fascinating to do this kind of thing, because there's always something you can learn. I'm trying to understand what's going on here. There's a lot of complexity and a lot of but you know, as I said, I'm not trying to make a copy. So I'm not going to be too demanding. All I want is to have that beautiful feeling of light. And I think I get it. Okay, you don't see it from exactly from the same angle than me, but I really like what's going on here, some dark reds and so on. I think in the other one I use more white in the background, but I think this one is okay. So the magical moment. Okay, it's going to be added to the series. Okay, thank you, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye-bye.